Hi there. Thanks for joining me for Going Deeper. And we're going deeper in our understanding of shame so that we can get rid of the shame. It all comes out of the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Now, Chris Williams and I are doing a brand new workshop called Emotional Freedom and Spiritual Strength. And if you feel like you need some help in the area of anxiety, depression, procrastination, anything like that, and shame, well, we've got a great workshop for you. But right now I want to talk to you about what are some of the sources of shame that is inappropriate or toxic shame. Shame that just can really drive us to never be all that we can be or to enjoy being the person that we are. We know that there are some childhood experiences that produce shame. You know, when I went to the first grade, I was one of those kids that cried when my mom was about to leave. Now, I'm not proud of that, but I'm not ashamed of it either, because I was 6, so it made sense, you know. You do those kind of things. Well, my mom, you know, she stayed with me, assured me I was going to be okay. I wasn't okay. Went to recess, and this second grader, she rips the pocket off of my shirt, and then you could see my chest. Oh my goodness, I was humiliated, and I was ashamed. Well, you know, things like that happen to kids. But when you're a kid, it's really serious, and you never forget it, and sometimes you kind of get afraid of second grade girls. They're like the enemy. So very early on, I was afraid, which caused me to feel less than all the other kids that looked like they were doing fine and confident in class. I was scared to go to recess because maybe some second grade girl would attack me again. Well, good for me that I had parents that understood and helped me work through it and cared about me. But rather than that kind of parent, some people have parents that, well, they add to the shame. And maybe yours would have said to you, oh, how stupid, or, oh, you should have just ignored her, or something like that. What a sad thing. And then some of you may, in your childhood, have been physically, emotionally, or sexually abused. What a horrible thing. And you can go through life thinking, well, that's what God wants for me, or that's what I deserve. I'm less than. I'm ashamed. We don't want that for you. Another way that you could feel shame is you notice that all of the other kids have parents that when they pick them up at school or you see them at church, they're hugging, kissing, showing affection. And if you don't have that, you're not stupid. You start to think, hey, we're not doing what all these other people are doing. And then you question, could it be me? That's a horrible source of shame. Or then maybe you are constantly criticized and put down, either by parents, sometimes siblings can do that, and sometimes teachers. For me, and I do tend to talk about myself because I'm the person I know the best. But anyway, for me, when I went to first grade, from the very beginning, my attention deficit disorder caused me to do things differently from everybody else. And I missed some stuff. For instance, the teacher has this number up on the board, and it's a chart of 0 through 20. And she says to me, now Steve, we're going to start with the number 2. And I'd like for you to call out every other one that's up here on the board. All right, I'm going to call out every other one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and all the way to 20. She said, no, every other one. I said, I did. I counted out every other number you had up on the board. It's kind of like when somebody says, hey, next Wednesday I'll come over. Well, now, did you mean this Wednesday's next Wednesday, or is next Wednesday the next Wednesday? See, I just didn't get it. And so she had to explain, no, we mean every other one. I said, well, that's really hard for a guy like me to understand. Why didn't they say skip one and name the next one or something like that. Count by twos. That would have helped. But see, from the beginning, I didn't go to kindergarten. All these other people did. They knew all this stuff. I didn't know the alphabet. It's hard for me to learn the alphabet because it was in alphabetical order. I didn't even realize that. So it was hard for me to learn stuff when I was in first grade. I was behind already, and I felt shame. Now here's the kicker. My IQ was probably higher than most all those other kids. And it took me a while to get the brain working to where I could benefit from that. But when it kicked in, I didn't feel so bad about myself. So I'm so grateful that I was able to come out of that. But a lot of people, every childhood experience is a shame-producing experience because of criticism, being put down by the people in your life. And if you don't ever resolve that, if you don't ever maybe grieve the loss of that childhood that would have been so fun, and then accept what you've been through, forgive those people that hurt you, you could keep that and carry it throughout life. And of course, just trauma can cause you to have tremendous shame. Your dad dies, mom dies, they get a divorce. How many times have you heard that when parents divorce, the child believes it's their fault? You don't ever say it out loud, but almost everybody thinks it and feels it. Or maybe you're like me, your parents are really committed Christians, and you think that they never sin, and you're sinning all the time. And so you feel so much unneeded, unwarranted shame from every little problem because they've not shared with you they're struggling too, that they're only human. So I want to encourage you that you go back and you kind of think through some of your childhood experiences and what impact that might have in adult life. Because sometimes something can happen in your adult life that taps into the childhood shame, and you overreact rather than just respond normally. Someone might say to you, "Wow, that's an interesting color you're wearing." And they're just kind of bugging you maybe, or maybe they do think it's interesting. But because you were shamed over the way you dressed early on, it does something within you. Well, those triggers many times can lead us back to the ground roots, the source of the shame. And when we find that, we can literally process that, talk about what maybe we've kept secret forever. Maybe a few tears flow as we maybe feel what we felt before. And then as we're grieving, going through life like that, then you come out on the other side of grieving with tremendous relief and freedom from all that emotion you've been dragging around. I don't know what you think about God, but a lot of people that are shame-based think that God wants you to feel really bad about yourself so you won't do anything bad. Well, we have a God who is, the Bible tells us, rich in mercy. And that mercy is for you. And if you don't feel it, if you don't feel that mercy and grace, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and let us help you. And I'll see you back here next time.